Hello, everybody, to the second weekly ESPL series hosted by Eat, Sleep, Play. I'm going to be your caster for this time around, and of course my name is Briefcase. Along me is my lovely co-caster Mito.
What's up, guys?
And of course, anybody just tuning in, and there actually are a lot of you. We have hit our highest amount of viewers pretty much ever, and in the history of ESPL. If you don't know what ESPL is, weekly series. Every single time, you're going to be able to bet on Dota 2 Lounge, what have you. And $100 on the line for whoever comes out on top each week. At the end of 3 months, there's going to be a big old main event that's going to have at least a $5,000 prize pool, going to consist of the top 6 teams who have performed throughout those 3 months, as well as Speed Gaming and Sigma Gaming. So it should be a real hoot for pretty much anybody involved. And yeah, once we do get a ticket, once it does happen, once Volvo finally does get that out, a lot of 50% of the ticket revenue is going to be going to that as well. So I mean, that prize pool should only balloon out more and more, and there's a courier there, and I know you all love that. So, but anyways, nonetheless, let's get into the drafts. Once again, some pretty standard ban outs, don't you think, Mito?
Yeah, I mean, Denial Esports led out with the Alchemist first ban. Alchemist, once again, it's a hero that people consider as somewhat OP as of now. Just being able to charge an unstable concoction and throwing it out and drop the acid spray midair, it does so much damage. And once it gets to level 6, it's a hero that essentially never has to go back to base. And Team DRUCKWELLE, they banned out the Bristleback and OD, and these are also two very powerful heroes. But as soon as Denial Esports saw those two bans, they picked up the Timbersaw, and yeah, because OD is a great counter to Timbersaw. It does pure damage, it can later on get a hex up the Timbersaw, and just kill the hero. And right now, DRUCKWELLE responds with the Timbersaw pick with Clockwork and Crystal Maiden. These two, Crystal Maiden is actually the most popular hero, if I'm not wrong, in the 6.79 patch, with a pretty high success rate. It can jungle, it has a good lockdown, it has an AoE, well, it has 2 AoE. Yeah, so it does amazing stuff throughout the game. Early game phase, mid game, late game, it has its presence.
Oh yeah, and I mean, now Visage picked up as well by Denial Esports on that dire side there, and I know you absolutely love Visage. You basically consider people don't give him enough credit, or that hero enough credit, and I have to agree with you. I mean, he can be so strong. Basically, as soon as he hits 6, he gives you all the map awareness you would ever need. Very similar to Beastmaster, but kind of a different skill set, and obviously a pretty good support nonetheless. And yeah, a Clockwork being picked up as well. And I mean, do you think we're going to see that kind of classic Timbersaw versus Clockwork lane where it can kind of go either way?
It's a little hard to tell as of now, but right now I'm starting to like the synergy that Team DRUCKWELLE has, and perhaps they're looking for a Lifestealer pickup. Then they have Ultra Strong Initiation. They can zip him with the Storm, they can have Clockwork Hook, and Crystal Maiden is a great hero when you pair it up with a Storm Spirit. The passive aura just helps Storm stay in the lane. He can zip around and use up all his mana, but then he will have the additional regeneration to help him do additional stuff in fights.
Oh yeah, and I
so
mean,
I think
the amount of initiation coming out of Team DRUCKWELLE right now is just pretty terrifying to deal with. Obviously, Timbersaw has an alright way to get out of there. He can at the very least Timber Chain himself into getting hit by the cogs. But it looks like Denial does need a little bit more lockdown, and indeed they have done that, picking up a Nyx Assassin, and I quite like that pickup when it comes right down to it.
Oh yeah, Nyx Assassin, it's great against Storm. When you zip in, if you have fast enough reactions, you just pop the Spike Carapace, and suddenly it's somewhat hard to initiate on that hero. And as a counter initiation, it has Impale, it has the Spike Carapace, and it can use like the mana burn to burn Crystal Maiden as well as Storm, because those are intelligence heroes.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think overall pretty good pickup, and you know, fairly good against it. Right now it looks like Team DRUCKWELLE gonna be able to at least with their lineup with Clockwork and Storm Spirit, of course, two of the more kind of gank oriented heroes as far as I'm concerned, going up against what Denial Esports has available. They're probably going to be able to find a few pickoffs. Visage can be pretty difficult to deal with. Nyx Assassin, pretty hard to take out as well with that Spike Carapace and Vendetta in a pinch to get away. Timbersaw, pretty hard to take down as well. So it seems like Team DRUCKWELLE is going to have to dedicate at least a few heroes to every gank. And, I mean, that could be a little bit of a double-edged sword. Dragon Knight, one of those heroes that can turn fights around pretty nicely, but with the amount of initiation and ganking that Team DRUCKWELLE already has in just Clockwork and Storm Spirit, I wouldn't be surprised if that opens the map up long enough for Luna to eventually become a threat and find the farm she needs.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty surprised they opted for the Luna instead of the Lifestealer, because it feels like Lifestealer just synergizes with Clockwork and Storm Spirit a lot better.
The bombs.
But Luna, yeah, the Lifestealer bombs, but then Luna does offer a big ultimate as well as strong pushing abilities and increases the damage of your teammates. But now that Denial Esports, they've picked up the 4th hero, the Dragon Knight, their lineup is starting to look really tank, and those initiations might not be as, like, it might not do as much damage as DRUCKWELLE hopes to do.
And I mean, who do you think DRUCKWELLE might or should pick up here? Because it's like, if we're talking about how they kind of need to get that big damage out with those initiations, and if that starts to kind of flounder because Denial Esports will eventually, more likely not, become almost too tanky for them to deal with. I was going to say, well, Lich, of course, is a huge amount of damage with that Chain Frost win, and if they need it, but I was even going to say something like an Elder Titan. That aura still would do very nicely in this lineup.
Yeah, but for Denial Esports, I'm actually thinking of heroes maybe. Like last game we saw a Silencer, that's a pretty good hero. As soon as the Storm or Clockwork initiates, you put up the global silence and nothing can happen. And you can turn the fight around, or you can just... Yeah, there's so many things you can do with the Denial Esports lineup, as well as DRUCKWELLE. I think this one will be a pretty close game, but... Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they're gonna play it, but... Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a Jungle Crystal Maiden. Wow.
That is going to be they want to open up the map entirely for that. And when it comes right down to it, PL versus Luna, I mean, hard to say who's going to win that matchup. The Glaives are so good at taking out those illusions.
I think ultimately, if you drag it to very late, Phantom Lancer will still come out on top. And you got to look at the other heroes as well. You've got Dragon Knight, you've got Timbersaw, Nyx Assassin, Visage. These heroes, it's not like they fall off. If you drag it into a late game, these heroes, they do a lot. Visage, essentially, you've got... Well, I don't even know the word for it. You get 6 stuns with 3 familiars. Because you use the initial 3, you get 3 stuns. Summon new ones, that's a 3 additional stuns. And yeah, Nyx Assassin. Late game, it's essentially, once it hits level 16, it can remain in Vendetta mode permanently. And can just constantly scout out for any kind of ganks or initiations, or even get solo pickoffs.
Oh yeah. But let's get into who is actually playing who for all these folks at home, and I'll be taking Denial. Would you like to take Team DRUCKWELLE, my friend?
Oh yeah, sure. So on Team DRUCKWELLE, we have Sir Yo-Yo playing the carry Luna, and we have Dubak playing the support Crystal Maiden. Marcus on the probably offlane Clockwork, and oh wait, yeah, and Captain Pie on the support Lich. Yeah, I'm sorry, mispronunciation. And we have Coop hiding in the trees, playing as a mid solo Storm. And when I look at, oh yeah, sorry, I should let you go first.
Yeah, man, I gotta get those. I gotta get Denial. I said you can take the other one, and you jumped right into it. Looks like we have Exiled playing as the Visage. Defect gonna be this Nyx Assassin. Smurf gonna be the Phantom Lancer, going incredibly late game, already on his way to a Ring of Aquila, it would look like. Looks like Denial. 23 gonna be this Dragon Knight. And Ceylan, the captain, the hero, the leader of this bunch. Oh no, it looks like we might actually have to remake this. Seems like something is going on. Oh god, not another time. Oh, well, we'll see. At the very least, Ceylan was gonna play Timbersaw, and I wouldn't be too afraid of all this. We'll see how this goes, though. Nonetheless, I mean, both teams drafting very nicely. It doesn't look like We will have to restart? We won't? Oh my word. What a sad day. Either way, it'll be something along the lines of all pick, and both teams will simply both teams will simply wait. Okay, so...
I just want to point out though.
Oh man. Yes,
I have a feeling
what is it?
DRUCKWELLE, they're gonna be running dual lanes. They have the lineup just allows them to do quite a lot of things. They can run the Crystal Maiden into jungle and just have a dual lane with Lich and Luna, or they can run a Lich dual off lane with the Clockwork, and both lanes will be like pretty potent. They can do a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks like we're remaking, everybody. Please hold on to your hats. It'll be another, what, 5 minutes? Here's hoping.
ESPL 664, all caps.
Alright everybody, we're back into this game once again. I am Briefcase along with the lovely Mito, gonna be with me this time around, and just a quick little who is playing who once again. Smurf from the Nile is Phantom Lancer, Exiled gonna be playing the Visage, Saylan, the leader, the hero of the bunch, Timbersaw, Defect gonna be this Nyx assassin, and it looks like DK once again gonna be... Oh, he changed his name. I believe he was 23 before, but now he is in fact DK, playing as the DK, so everything's gonna be A-OK. Sub-Arc gonna be Crystal Maiden. Marcus as the Clockwork. Once again, Sir Yo-Yo. Looks like he actually might be going this weird dual lane with Lich mid. Luna right there has that Wraith Band to get a little bit more last hits. Captain Pi gonna be playing as this Lich, and once again QP as the Storm Spirit. Mito, are you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Alright.
Yeah, so looking at DRUCKWELLE, they've already switched up the lanes. They're actually running dual lane mid with Luna and Lich. They're gonna be up against the Dragon Knight, and at bottom you're gonna have Crystal Maiden and Storm Spirit up against the Timbersaw. I actually like this laning choice a lot. It enables him to put a lot more harassment on the Dragon Knight, and it stops the Dragon Knight from being able to help out his team early on. And yeah, hopefully DRUCKWELLE, both of the carries will get the farm they need and make things happen during the mid game phase.
Oh yeah, and DK with a little bit of a better block right now, and Captain Pi trying his very best to harass him down. Gonna be a little bit difficult though, considering he has picked up a magic stick. He's been pooled 2 tangos right now, and that leaves Clockwork up top onto this off lane, pretty much all alone, and it doesn't seem like they have a lineup geared very well right now to pick up a kill against him, so I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus might even find a kill of his own eventually against these 2 supports. Could be a little difficult, but with only Visage and Defect, it just doesn't seem like they have quite enough lockdown or really even enough damage to get through those cogs once he places them down. While that's happening, DK does fall in the mid lane. Sir Yo-Yo and Captain Pi, looks like a nice slow Frost Blast as well as Lucent Beam, going to be enough there to clean him up. And the first blood going to Team DRUCKWELLE very early on already.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Now Esports decide to rotate Defect mid and just to babysit him a little more, because he is having a pretty hard time. Another way they can deal with it is start stacking up and prepare the Dragon Knight to take some, maybe not ancient stack, that's a little too far, but maybe some big camps. That would help him catch up a lot more as well. And at bottom, if you look, Storm Spirit, they're just letting him solo, and the Crystal Maiden is just helping out with room control and just jungling and just doing the 2 things. Doesn't, like, Storm Spirit doesn't even need help against the Timbersaw as of now.
Oh yeah, and he never really needs to be in too much fear of getting picked off by that Timbersaw, so I mean, just looks like DRUCKWELLE getting a little bit more out of this map than their competitors at the moment. Subarc now trying to harass Ceylan a little bit, but Ceylan sees it coming. Actually has the brown boots to continue going on to Crystal Maiden if he wants to, but deciding not to, and it looks like Captain Pi has actually picked up the Invis Rune from top, getting some more harass onto DK, and almost no amount of Dragon Blood is going to let you survive, or at least stay in lane against a Lich and a Luna who constantly harassing. While that's happening, it looks like Subarc getting a little bit of a frostbite onto Ceylan, but nothing coming of it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the game plans with these 2 teams. So clearly Team DRUCKWELLE, they want to take the game around mid-game and just have the heroes just jump in. Have Marcus on the Clockwork get a hook initiation, or have the Storm Spirit just running it. Oh, look at mid. Once again, 23 is going to get picked off by the Lich and the Luna combo. Yeah, so they've had enough, so now the Visage is just going to start sitting at mid, I think. I think this is something they should have done a bit earlier, and perhaps just have Visage rotate between the lanes and stacking the big camp.
Oh yeah, it seems pretty much completely necessary. DK now already falling twice, and against a dual lane Lich and Luna, he's actually under-leveled already. He's only level 3, they're both level 4, and if that continues, I mean, it's just going to go even more their way, and now they're opting to put a little bit more of their harass onto Exile, just try and keep him low as well, and it just looks like none of Denial's lanes are going particularly well right now. Smurf in a horrible spot against Marcus, does have Doppelwalk available in the last second there to get away, but nonetheless, Marcus getting a lot of nice harass on him, both of them now salving up, pretty much back up to full, so almost able to find a kill, and like I was saying, they just don't seem to have any good way to deal with Marcus right now, and it looks like Subarc continuing to do that rune control for his buddies, making sure that, well, DK doesn't even have a bottle yet, so not like they really need it.
Yeah, and if you look at the last hits, right now both Storm and Phantom Lancer, they're about on par. But at mid, the Dragon Knight is starting to fall behind, because Luna has 21 last hits, whereas Dragon Knight only has 12. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean, now it looks like trying to set something up on the DK, there's the illusions. Captain Pi has actually picked up that bottle and sharing it very nicely with Sir Yo-Yo. So, I mean, they have all the regen they kind of ever want. Captain Pi can consistently just throw out those Frost Blasts because of Sacrifice, and as soon as both of these heroes hit 6, I mean, they could just go for the scariest ganks you could ever see. As long as they get behind a creep wave, it's really not going to matter whoever they're up against this early on, and that's just going to be absolutely terrifying to deal with. Now Exiled does get Frost Blasted, does get Lucent Beamed, and just those 2 abilities already being used. He's down to about 300 HP, and there's just almost nothing that it feels like Denial can deal with or do against this mid lane right now.
Well, sure, the Dragon Knight is getting shut down, but at the same time, PL is getting the farm that he needs. With 31 last hits, around 5
in the
minutes.
mid. DK actually going to get a kill before everything is said and done. Exiled now trying to turn something around on Sir Yo-Yo. It looks like Lich for a DK, not a bad trade by any means. While that's happening as well, looks like QP, along with the happy little sub-arc there, finding a kill against the Timbersaw. Slightly unexpected, but Storm Spirit, of course, having that Ball Lightning and has actually gone for more points into Overload, so spamming Ball Lightning all around the map and just trying to get those charges, and that's where most of that damage came from.
Oh wow, yeah, just maxing the Overload first. Like most of the time when you see a mid-solo Storm, it's going to be 3 levels into Electric Vortex before maxing out the other 2 skills. Of course, you max out Overload most of the time before Static Remnants, but in this case, since they just want to constantly chase him down, and he has the mana pool to spam because he's got a Sobi Mask as well as the Crystal Maiden Aura to help him sustain. Yeah, so things are going pretty well for DRUCKWELLE. The early game plan has worked so far.
Oh yeah, and I mean, well, Phantom Lancer is, of course, he's getting that farm that he needs, sitting at leading the last hits department right now, has 36 of them. I mean, you still have Luna, though, right on his tail. Storm Spirit, who, you know, you're another very strong core hero as well, doing very nicely. He's actually leading Phantom Lancer right now, and I mean, it just seems like DRUCKWELLE is getting, 1, more out of this map, but 2, their heroes that they really do want to get farmed are equaling, if not surpassing, Phantom Lancer right now.
Yeah, and if you look at the level difference, wow, it just feels like DRUCKWELLE, they're quite far ahead, with level 8 on Storm Spirit, level 7 on Luna. As these are their core heroes, and whereas you look at Denial, most of the heroes are level 5 or level 6.
Oh yeah, now double damage DK, they don't even care, just throwing out the burst as much as they can. Now Luna level 7 has Eclipse. Lich looks like he's going all the way back home, trying to get that sacrifice all to himself to make sure he has that Chain Frost, and now with that, I mean, they could basically take any sort of team fight that they want to, not to mention that QP is level 8 now. He could actually be a threat with all those points in Overload and just the amount of regen he's already got going for him. So, I mean, right now, like you were saying, it seems like DRUCKWELLE trying to take this game early in the mid game and not letting that PL really come online, or the DK for that matter. They've shut him down quite nicely, and if they can continue to play this way, it seems like Denial will simply just not come online fast enough to really be meaningful.
Yeah, they gotta start doing things.
Now it looks like DK might find Subarc in the jungle, does get 1 little chop on him, gets a nice little fire breath on him as well, and of course gonna be trying to melt that Crystal Maiden, but doesn't really matter. Didn't do enough damage to really deter her, and leaving Exiled in the mid to basically get harassed down, has to hide behind that tower very, very far, and it looks now like Marcus continuing to scout out with these rockets in the top lane, pretty much never fearing any ganks. And as I say that, and of course look away, looks like QP finding a solo kill once again on the Timbersaw. He just has too much damage with these 90 damage overloads.
Yeah, this is a really rough start for the Now Esports. But now that Timbersaw is dead, and he's in the base,
now Sir Yo-Yo actually does get stunned. The familiars are out. Can they land them? Couldn't get the secondary stuns. Not sure if it would have gone exactly their way. Captain Pi is there. Now Sir Yo-Yo looks like he's trying to change it around, but Captain Pi a little reluctant to throw out that Chain Frost on such a willy-nilly target. As that's happening, Smurf is up here all by his lonesome. There comes in Subarc, has the dust to guarantee the kill, and so now with that, I mean, DK's died a few times. You have your PL who has been farming nicely, but now he's been picked off, and it just seems like DRUCKWELLE doing just doing a lot of work early on right now.
Yeah, and apparently that gank isn't ending anytime soon. They both smoked up. Clockwork as well as the Crystal Maiden, and they're rotating mid. But Well, 23 is already going all the way back to base, but they're probably just going to push this out.
Oh, a missed hook, however. It doesn't look like they even need it, though. Subark is there to guarantee another slow. Marcus might actually fall to the tower here, and it just depends. Are these familiars going to be able to pick him off? A couple shots, and they are. Now Smurf has ported in here, trying to take down the Sir Yo-Yo with these familiars. They're so low. That's going to be some nice gold if they can get it, and the illusion just not able to finish the job there. Smurf, of course, looks like he's trying to come in, help his teammates as best he can, but I mean, as a PL, you really just want to sit back and farm, and you don't really have a good way to push this. It's like Ceylan trying to set something up on a Subark, but too far behind this tower, playing very nicely, very conservatively as well. And of course, while this is all happening, Smurf was there to try and help, but this is just wasted time for the PL right now.
Yeah, right now, I think what Denial Esports need to do is get the level 6 on the Nyx Assassin, have him and Timbersaw go and find some pickoffs. Is in a full-on clash right now, they're behind, so they're probably going to try to avoid, and with Nyx Assassin, with the Invis, they can rotate into jungle, they can kill the Storm and Luna.
Looks like we have a PL pause, a doorbell being rung on Smurf there. Wonder if it's anything important, we shall see, but Smurf has actually picked up Hand of Midas, so I mean they really do need to drag this out for, you know, another 20 minutes or so for him to come online now that he has that Hand of Midas. It's obviously going to help him pick up since he died, but nonetheless you really do want to wait around and let that Hand of Midas really do its job.
Yeah, Denial, they need to rotate the pressure off the PL. They need to be the ones pressuring towers at mid, tower at bottom, or like getting kills around those areas. That way, it'll force Team DRUCKWELLE to rotate all their heroes into the fights. Clockwork wouldn't be staying on the lane and
now
just
Exiled, stuck in a horrible spot, gonna fall here ever so quickly. QP just zipping in, has the mana to get there, of course, and with his buddy the Lich, Captain Pi just waiting in the wings, throwing out a Frost Blast. Was not able to get out there in time, and Captain Pi incredibly diligent at dewarding, as we've seen not only right now on this little side lane, but in the mid lane as well. Look at those two wards, clearly his as well. And so Captain Pi really controlling the vision of this game right now for Team DRUCKWELLE.
Oh yeah, this is pretty harsh. DRUCKWELLE, the heroes, these heroes are the kind that will snowball out of control if they get off to a good start. And with Storm Spirit, Clockwork, it's gonna be so scary. They have to play. Denial has to stick together and play as a team, or just have those two heroes that I was talking about find pickoffs. Otherwise, whenever the PL is free farming, DRUCKWELLE, they're just gonna go over with say a Storm and a Clockwork. That's more than enough to kill him. Because these heroes, they're gonna have dust. Either the supports buy for them, or they just buy it themselves. Because I mean, what can PL do against those two heroes if they initiate on him?
Oh yeah, and if we look mid, actually QP getting some nice little damage and kills on these familiars, and that's some good gold right there as well. Can't really do too much, but while that's happening, you have all of the AoE in the entire team just trying to take this bot tower, and it looks like, I mean, I was going to say before that fortify that they're going to be pretty successful. Now, a huge rotation coming out of Denial right now, trying to see if they can't catch out Marcus, but everybody feels it, and Subark does get in there as well. Not sure, once again, if they really have a way to deal with this. Not like DK can really stun him. Does get it, actually over the cogs, and it looks like Soul Assumption. Make me eat my own words, my friends. Subark now a little bit too far forward, but QP zips in, does find Defect very nicely, and looks like the Chain Frost RNG just was not with them, but the Familiar keeping it in the ring, and now it looks like Exiled might actually die here. Looks like QP couldn't quite get out of there. Captain Pi gonna be able to find him, but that's gonna be going the way of the two carries, that kill. And I mean, at the very least, Denial coming out ahead right there, taking out two of the main heroes, two of the core heroes, and only losing both of their supports. Not bad for them by any means.
Yeah, that was great. And especially when the Visage knew he was gonna die, he purposely pulled the Lich into a dead end, so his teammates has time to come and pick off the to take out the Lich. And if you notice, Sealand, he wasn't even in that fight. He was just farming at bottom, and now he has his arcane boots. And when he does decide to join the team fights, he's gonna be able to offer a lot more.
Oh yeah, now it looks like Sir Yo-Yo playing very aggressively up top, just being really far forward actually when you don't have any support coming your way right now. But does back off, gets behind that tower, does A-OK for himself, and it's like QP just continuing to farm up, really does want to finish off that Orchid, and really as soon as he does that, Phantom Lancer needs to be incredibly careful, Timbersaw needs to be incredibly careful as well, and QP should just be a one-man wrecking crew, or at least a one-man ganking crew, as soon as he finishes up that Orchid.
I think then a lot of it comes down to the wording for Denial Esports, and it will definitely affect how they deal with it. If they keep tabs on the towers and like seeing what TPs are coming in, and just have the Nyx Assassin rotate, because Nyx Assassin is essentially their best bet for counter initiate. So, and now they are looking for the Clockwork. I mean, looking for the Phantom Lancer.
Whereas it does land the hook, and now this Phantom Lancer in a world of trouble. As that's happening, it looks like Nyx Assassin was able to pick up a nice little kill against Storm Spirit in the mid lane. So sorry we missed it, folks, but it doesn't matter. It was the carry who got killed there, and Storm Spirit did fall, but I mean, PL probably a little bit more important than him.
Actually, that was a very key pick-off, the Storm Spirit, because he was so close to his Orchid. Now he's being set back by a tiny bit, but it is something that they need, just to slow down the pace of the Storm.
Oh yeah, just try to slow the roll of pretty much the entire DRUCKWELLE team, and Luna now has something I want to say coming to her, is getting closer and closer to that BKB, only about 1,000 gold out. As soon as she gets that, I don't want to say will be destroying in team fights, but will be able to contribute quite a bit more right now. Won't have to be nearly as scared of Timbersaw especially. And I mean, well on her way to that BKB right now.
An interesting thing that perhaps you notice is, even though it seems like DRUCKWELLE, they have the lead, but just now Dragon Knight, if you look at the jungle camps, they're being stacked up and Smurf is just taking them. And they just have so many catch-up mechanics they can use. And Nyx Assassin, he's just sitting there protecting the Dragon Knight, you know? He's waiting for initiation to happen, and I bet his teammates are ready to come in to help.
Oh yeah, so I mean, things going very nicely. Looks like trying to make something happen on Exiled, but they decide against it with that TP coming in and defect now there. Looks like DK now gonna try and take this top tower. Subarc is here to try and prevent it, but with no TP support coming in, it looks like it's gonna be at best a deny, and DK of course warding him away, threatening with a stun. While that's happening, Luna and Captain Pi, along with Marcus, finding a kill on the bot against Timbersaw, finding their own tower. So, but losing Captain Pi in the process. So I mean, some even trades coming out right now, and like you said, whilst Denial does appear to be down, or at least feel that way, they have been stacking these camps, and they do have some nice catch-up going as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, and if you look at the gold graph and XP graph, right, it was, some close to 4,000 gold advantage, and it kind of just swerved downwards as soon as PL started taking the camps. And it's the same story with the XP graph.
And now DK trying to make something happen onto Subarc. Half of his HP gone before anything is said and done. Ceylon just needs to get there in time with a Timber Chain. Does get there very far forward. Looks like Soul Assumption not quite enough, but this Phantom Lance, will the Illusion be able to pot shot him? Does indeed. Marcus now has that Blade Mail. Nobody really wanting to smack that Porcupine, and it looks like Denial able to clean this up quite nicely. Team DRUCKWELLE just not taking the best engagements there.
And this is a pretty key point in the game, because the past couple of fights, whenever Denial of the heroes died, it was never the core hero. It wasn't the Dragon Knight nor the PL. Instead, they lived through all the fights, and now they're starting to pick up on their items.
Oh yeah, now QP going on to defect, and that Orchid gonna be playing a huge role here. Melts before he can do anything, and right now it seems like this is about the time when Team DRUCKWELLE really does kind of want to get going. They want to be finding all the pickoffs they possibly can, and basically starving out Denial and the Phantom Lancer from rolling around and starting to get some good farm. And I mean, with those last few engagements, hasn't been going too much their way, and it's just going to rely down to, I think, Storm, maybe some big Clockwork hooks as well, to try and continue and hurt Denial's farm right now.
Yeah, I felt that DRUCKWELLE could have been stacking a little bit more for the Luna though. 18-minute BKB, it's okay, but it's not that great. And I felt like they needed to accelerate Luna's farm if they want to keep up the pressure.
Oh yeah, because I mean, you're up against a PL who clearly he's got a hand of Midas. Who clearly he's got a hand of Midas. He's got his Yasha now. He actually went for Vlad's and Tranquils of all things. Not too sure how I feel about this Tranquils pickup, but I guess the move speed will help him get out of some sticky situations if and when they do happen. But I mean, you aren't able to really kill him as efficiently as you would like right now, and it seems like they can't really find the pickoffs they want, specifically against Smurf. So you really do need to accelerate that Luna farm to be on par, maybe even a little bit greater, and continue to apply that pressure so that PL kind of has to team fight, that he has to be a part of things, and that he can't just solo farm all day long.
Yep. Dude, I'm hoping the Now Esports defect, he's gonna play the Nyx Assassin Cinderin style, where he kind of just baits the enemy team into constantly trying to pick him off, and while he's doing that, it's gonna buy time for his teammates. See, like right now, the Nyx Assassin is just at mid, but his teammates are pretty far away. PL is farming top, and the rest are just all sitting at mid. Yeah, if you can use the Nyx Assassin as a bait all the time, it will really help your other teammates. It will create so much farm time.
Oh yeah, and now it looks like Team DRUCKWELLE realizing that they can't just let PL farm, let him stay back, and they have to start applying the pressure. That's Chakram just doing so much damage to everybody, though, really deterring them from trying to continue and take this tower. And, I mean, despite how much pressure it seems like Team DRUCKWELLE can put on into the mid game, just like right now, they don't seem to actually have any good way of pushing these towers. They don't have any Chens, any creeps, no Helm of the Dominator to help them right now either. And now a nice hook coming out from Marcus. Looks like he cogs very nicely to get Ceylan pushed back. QP melting immediately. Can he get out of this? Continuing to zip around and has all the overload charges in the world. Looks like exiled, but the Chain Frost doing a huge amount of work, and they find Defect as well. So killing 4, only losing a Storm Spirit. But while that's happening, you do have Smurf. He's pushing the tower, gonna get it as well, getting all the farm you would ever want. So you're trading a tier 2 for a tier 2 now as well. And it looks like a couple of buybacks. You got your Visage, your Ceylan, and it looks like they're just trying to stay here and make sure this mid tier 2 doesn't fall. Not too sure if they're going to be completely successful, but indeed they have been. And those 2 buybacks, just enough to make sure that they keep this tier 2.
Yeah, and now Phantom Lancer, he's picked up his Manta style, and you're gonna see even more split pushing coming out of him. His teammates are really sacrificing themselves to buy him time, and hopefully it's like he's gonna be able to perform for his team.
Oh yeah, hopefully it pays off. Now a smoke coming down. DK doesn't have dragon form, so we're not going to see any of those long range dragon tails right now, but it looks like they're actually just smoking up to try and make sure that they can get into the Roche scot-free. And Ceylan not trying to give anything away, just planting down and hanging out, but not trying to give away that they're going into the Roche. And it looks like at the moment DRUCKWELLE not even too sure where they are. Maybe they're smoking up and they need to be a bit careful. At the very least, doesn't seem like they really knew that they were going into the Roche. And now with that, Smurf has picked up this Aegis. I mean, going to be very difficult to fight into that for Team DRUCKWELLE.
Yeah, and Storm, he died in the previous fight as well. So if you look at Team DRUCKWELLE, their core heroes, they're constantly taking fights, but they're not getting much out of it. Luna has just picked up a Yasha, and so now he only has BKB, Yasha, Ring of Aquila. And if you compare it to PL was behind, but he has Midas. He's got Mantis Style, got Vlad's. So he's not even gonna join team fights. He's just gonna be pushing on his own. And the difference between Luna and PL's farm is just gonna get bigger and bigger to the point where even Dragon Knight will catch up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have my BKB and I can already man fight the Luna." And then you throw in the PL on top. Wow, it's gonna be pretty hard for DRUCKWELLE to handle.
Oh yeah, and DRUCKWELLE, I mean, they must be feeling this pressure that they need to kind of put the last nail in the coffin here, try and get these towers, get more control, and just basically make sure that PL can't split push and really try and take this game as soon as possible. They must be feeling that pressure, and because of that, it looks like they've grouped up, continuing to try and take towers and push in, but I'm just not too sure. It might have gone almost a little bit too late. Smurf is starting to become a one-man wrecking crew, and I mean, obviously he does have Tranks, but he's going to get closer and closer, probably going to get a heart in, you know, what, 10 minutes time, 7 minutes time or so, if he goes unobstructed like he is right now, and then I'm just not sure what Team DRUCKWELLE can really do against him.
They need to stack. They need to stack multiple camps. They need to do, like, the four-man rotation without the Luna. Luna needs to get something because they need to end the game within the next, say,
Now
20 minutes or
Cupid
so.
finds a defect hanging out in the jungle. Not sure if he can polish him off. Does indeed get it with that last little orchid pop. But, so, I mean, Cupid still able to find a couple of pickoffs left, right, and center. Pops a regen rune, which is exactly what he wants as well. Gonna be able to zip all over the map now, of course, with that regen. And, I mean, should be doing pretty A-okay for himself right about now.
But that, once again, you see, like,
Ooh, they found a Smurf. This could be a huge pickoff if he doesn't realize what's happening. They do find him, and now not too sure why Storm Spirit actually left there, QP, but Smurf now actually does get caught out and gonna be falling here. The Aegis is gonna pop. Looks like DK, though, incredibly far away, isn't gonna be here to help his buddy. Smurf able to actually get out of that Orchid with the Manta style. Marcus now falling to the illusions, can't do anything. QP as well pops his BKB to try and live and will be able to zip out of there scot-free, but Smurf gets a kill against Marcus, so he loses the Aegis, but he gets a kill, and with that, he's going to be getting closer and closer to that Diffusal Blade.
yep, and Luna, in the meantime, didn't join the fight, starts trying to farm. This might be a little bit too late to catch up in terms of, like, his difference with the Phantom Lancer. I just want to look at the net worth. Yeah, so right now Phantom Lancer is already 3k gold ahead of Luna. So that's essentially what close to Eagle Song difference between the two heroes. And Luna is so key to DRUCKWELLE's push. Luna essentially is the only hero that offers the great pushing power. And when Luna doesn't have enough items, how are they gonna go high ground? Unless they take out an entire team.
Oh yeah, exactly, and I mean, but I mean, when in saying that, Denial, DK, he's actually almost about 3,000 gold behind QP. So I mean, there's the difference, or the 3,000 gold difference that you were mentioning. It hasn't gone to Luna, and then instead it's gone to QP. So I mean, things still looking very doable for Team Druckworth right now, or DRUCKWELLE, I should say. But still, though, I mean, it just feels like
Here's another problem.
PL is going to continue to farm up and really just ramp ahead of everybody.
Here's another problem though. So you have the Lich ultimate, the Chain Frost. But how are you gonna land Chain Frost on anyone when you're up against the entire PL army? It's just gonna bounce on illusions. Not to say they're still familiars as well.
Now it looks like Smurf actually wisely using the Doppelwalk before anything is seen, and QP and Marcus looking really hard to try and find him, but all they find is an illusion. So, I mean, getting a couple little pot shots, burning a little bit of mana for his trouble, and it looks like Smurf just continuing to go around, see if they can't find anything, and now, right now, if Luna continues here, this could be a huge pickoff, and it looks like Yo-Yo in a heap of trouble. Can Defect get the stun? Actually makes her pop the BKB, would have missed anyways, but nonetheless, does burn a BKB charge for their troubles, so nice little bit of that for them. And now it looks like we do have a paused game at the moment. Not too sure what's going on, but I'd like to remind everybody who has tuned in, eventually we will have a ticket on the store. It's gonna have a courier, just buy it, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, so I just want to quickly look at, say, the scoreboard. Let's see how each hero is performing. So, Hero has died a couple of times in the early stage, but now he has 3 kill, 2 deaths, made his comeback. Luna hasn't died a single time, as a matter of fact. But the efficiency of this hero just isn't felt throughout this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, you take a Luna, you kind of, obviously, you want that late game push, but against a PL, it's going to be really, really difficult to actually make that happen. And so you say, you know what, we can take some team fights early on with Eclipse, we can do a lot of good just with Lunar Blessing, buffing everybody, giving them all basically a demon edge. And like you were saying, yeah, QP up top, finding a nice little kill against Defect once again, and Sir Yo-Yo and Captain Pi now trying their very best to get in here. Nice TPs in though, however. There's the Chain Frost as well. Does get off, but it's doing, like you said, absolutely nothing. The illusions are there, and Sir Yo-Yo gonna fall, so that is a huge pickoff for Denial Esports right there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the options for DRUCKWELLE. They need the pickoffs, and they have been trying really hard with the Storm Spirit and the Clockwork. They have been trying to create space for the Luna to farm up. but they need a lot more than what they're doing right now. They need, like, it's the same problem over and over. When they fight, their core heroes die, but for Denial Esports, their supports die. So every fight you're trading supports for cores, then it's very hard to keep up.
Oh yeah,
But-
very hard indeed. And I just have to, I've actually got a little thing that I have to deal with right now, Mito. So sorry, but I just have to disappear for like 30 or so seconds. If that's a-okay with you.
Okay.
So sorry to everybody watching as well, but it seems like I gotta take care of this one little thing. Alright,
Alright, so
I'm just gonna be following, who should I follow? I'll follow Defect.
just
There.
follow everyone.
Well, I can't!
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow Defect, so you gotta take this, buddy.
No problem. So Defect Nyx Assassin, he has no items, and he's died 6 times with 3 kills on the board. Yeah, and now we have a 4-man smoke up from DRUCKWELLE, and they've caught the Timber Saw. Sealand is in a lot of trouble, and he will fall here. So now this is a great opportunity for DRUCKWELLE to start pushing and try to make the go for the high ground, because Timber Saw with the Chalk Arm is great at defending towers. But they still have the familiars with the fire, the brief fire on the Dragon Knight, and then they have the Spirit Lance from Phantom Lancer. Yeah, Phantom Lancer is just gonna keep on split pushing, and as DRUCKWELLE makes a rotation bottom, takes a tier 2, Phantom Lancer is pushing out the top. So it puts DRUCKWELLE in a dilemma. If they keep up with the push, then Phantom Lancer is gonna take their towers as well. Probably even faster than DRUCKWELLE will do as a team. Yeah. And now DRUCKWELLE, they're just scouting for Roshan, but it's still gonna be... I have no idea how to look at the Roshan timer, but it seems like it's 2 minutes? Yeah. And it's unfortunate they couldn't find the Roshan, because if they get Aegis, it's gonna be pretty big for the Storm Spirit. He will be able to expend his mana pool however he wants to. But yeah, they just have to wait a little bit more for that to happen. Meanwhile, Dragon Knight, he's already finished up his BKB, and now he's starting to progress into that Assault Cuirass. So the problem isn't just going to be the Phantom Lancer anymore. And Visage is fairly close, just 200 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter as well. So Visage with Aghanim Scepter, with Medallion, dishes out tons of damage as well. And he's tanky with Gravekeeper's Cloak. So now you have so many tanky heroes who can stand the ground, who can dish out damage. So if you only aim the Phantom Lancer, then the other heroes will do everything they want to you.
Oh yeah, I am back, by the way. Did I miss anything?
No, just a couple of tower kills, and Sealand was picked off by a smoke gank.
Alright, so not the end of the world. Sorry about that, everybody. My apartment manager just came to my door, and that is one person you usually don't want to keep waiting too long. But everything is a-okay, and I am back indeed. And it does indeed look like a couple of towers have disappeared. Roshan has spawned back up, but of course these familiars going to scout out everything all day. And, I mean, like you were saying, this PL, all you need to do is really point him in the right direction, and he'll basically kill anybody, and he's actually incredibly close to finishing up that heart win, and if he ever wants it. So, I mean, what do you think Team DRUCKWELLE can do? You might have already covered that when I was gone, but what do you think they can really do? Now Cupid will be able to find a Smurf immediately, and does get the silence off on him, where it is, but of course the Manta gonna be enough to get him out of that one, and it just looks like they're not sure what to do. There's the Chain Frost as well. Smurf so close to dying. They're chasing him down. Can they actually find him? Cupid with absolutely no mana, but can this Chain Frost, beautiful bit of RNG going the way of Team DRUCKWELLE, and now it looks like Captain Pie, not sure what to do. Sir Yo-Yo, that Eclipse doing quite a bit of work, but the creep wave here trying to stop that, and some nice little RNG coming out of them right there. While it's happening, it looks like Defect was able to actually find that Storm Spirit hiding in the trees, but poor Phantom Lancer with those bounces, my friend.
Yeah, and it forced out his buyback as well, so that was great for DRUCKWELLE. And in terms of items, right, if you look at DRUCKWELLE, the heroes, they're all doing pretty good. Lich has the mech, Storm has BKB Orchid, so the items are very evenly spread across the heroes. Whereas they're relying, well, they were relying on the Phantom Lancer, but now that they're gonna take this Roche, the heroes are starting to catch up. And the fights are just gonna keep getting harder and harder for DRUCKWELLE.
Radiant's middle tower is
Oh yeah, now with that Aegis, it feels like Denial probably finally wants to start pushing in a little bit. It feels like they've been very, very passive this entire game. Only Smurf really going in and getting those pushes, and of course all the tier 1s falling, but you kind of just have to expect that this late into it. But they really haven't tried to put much pressure into the jungle or even onto the tier 2s of DRUCKWELLE, so I mean it feels like they're just farming up, trying to make sure that Smurf is basically unstoppable, and then they're gonna go in for the kill.
I mean, to be honest, with their lineup, they can drag for a very long time. They can max out the PO and then they can start maxing out heroes like Timbersaw, max out Dragon Knight, get tons of items on Visage. So yeah, it's something we've discussed right from the beginning during the drafting phase, that these heroes, they all do very well like going into late game. Whereas you compare Crystal Maiden and Lich, unless they have huge items like BKB, Aghanim Refresher, along those lines, they're not going to be offered a lot in the late game.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you basically need to figure now that since PL has that Reaver and he's getting pretty damn close to that heart now as well, you pretty much have to assume that Lich's Chain Frost is gonna get drastically reduced in efficacy. And I mean, I don't even know, yeah, Chain Frost will hurt those illusions, but it's not gonna, I bet an illusion with a heart could even take maybe 2 or even 3 hits from the Chain Frost and still live, or maybe that would be the end of it. But I mean, Chain Frost is just gonna fall right off as soon as PL gets that heart.
Yeah, the same thing we saw last time probably won't happen again. Those RNG Chain Frost bounces.
Oh yeah, but I mean, that was really just an unfortunate bit of walking into Cupid by Smurf there. And really, he got silenced right away. He was getting pulled. Nice little hook in by Marcus as well. And then just the RNG was completely and utterly with them. And it looks like not trying to give up those familiars at all. We get a little resummon out of Exiled. And I mean, nothing too much going to happen. And like you're saying, Denial, they can basically just drag this on and on and on. And the longer they do, pretty much the stronger they will get.
And Luna is actually holding on to a lot of gold. She has 5.5k gold. And so yeah, all the DRUCKWELLE heroes, they all have a lot of money. And if Stone Spirit picks up this Sheepstick, it might change the tides of the game once again if they get the heroes they need in team fights.
Oh yeah, and Luna now working towards it. Smurf running like a madman towards her. Defect can't quite get the stun with that blink, however. And now Smurf continuing to run in and just try and man fight this. Is going to get hit by those cogs. And you know what? He just doesn't even care because of this heart. And he's basically just trying to man fight this. And he's doing A-OK for himself as well.
Wow.
This is just
Wow.
Smurf. This is just running straight into a group of 5 and not even giving a damn. Now Marcus is going to have this Phantom Lance hit him, but does get stunned by Defect. Finally lands one. Looks like he's having a hard time though. Cupid though does stun himself on the Spike Carapace. Ceylon eating a lot of damage from that Chain Frost, doing a lot of work, but Smurf is here to try and make sure that nobody gets away. Has just been stuck in ice for a lot of that though, and it looks like Cupid might fall here. Doesn't have quite enough life to live through that burst, and he just can't zip up. And now Smurf just seems almost unstoppable during that entire engagement. Ate the Chain Frost, ate a lot, and nothing really happens. He's back up to full HP. He can just continue, and his illusions are just ungodly tanky as well. And Cupid, a teleport in. No idea what he was doing. It looks like they're trying to turn the tide. Marcus now pops his chain mail. Doesn't really matter. Smurf though doing a huge amount of work, and now Mark is going to be falling to him as well. Looks like the Purge very slowly running out. Denial Exiled gonna throw out that Soul Assumption to finish him off. And now with that, who actually has buyback on this Radiant team? Marcus does, Lich does if they need to when he does die, and there's Marcus coming back, but they don't have Crystal Maiden at all. And it doesn't look like when and if Sir Yo-Yo dies, will he be able to buy back as well. So, I mean, this is going to get very scary for them if they can't hold this. Now it looks like Mark is going in once again, but Smurf doesn't give a damn at all. Continues to just man fight. Everybody just hitting him down. He doesn't even care. He's okay to die. He's got the Aegis. He can just pop it, and then as soon as he's back, there is a sentry down for them, so they will be able to try and burst him down. But it looks like he, once again, doesn't care. He wants that Rax more than anything, and now actually decides, ooh, the Cogs placed very nicely, and now deciding to man fight when he knows he's trapped, and does actually fall, so still a nice pickoff for them. But does he have buyback himself? Yes, he does. So, I mean, it's not like they're going to get a Rax out of this pickoff by any means.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have to even get Butterfly so fast. If he just picks up a Talisman of Evasion, then they can't even attack him. Those right clicks, they're just going to constantly miss.
Oh yeah, and it looks like Sir Yo-Yo, at the very least, we have Team DRUCKWELLE forcing the issue. They really do want to, at the very least, make that PL buyback, and it seems like Denial trying to make sure that he can save that money, that maybe he can get that Talisman of Evasion if need be. And, I mean, they can probably actually just repel this with 4 for maybe 30 seconds. They do have the means to do it, and Dragon Knight, of course, does Dragon form. He's got Frost Dragon available if they want him to use it.
And it's unlucky, the Storm. He had the money for a Sheepstick, but he's just been dying in those fights.
So now Denial really
yeah,
trying to make
Denial.
sure. A nice little hook shot in by Marcus, splitting everybody up. Chakram constantly being thrown out to be annoying. DK, though, does get a nice stun on Captain Pi. No Chain Frost going to fall, so they have easily repelled this. And with only 10 seconds left, it actually looked like Smurf did buy back almost unnecessarily.
Yeah, well, the team took the engagement, so I guess he felt it was necessary for him to come into the fight and help out, as he is the biggest damage dealer as well as the biggest tank for his team.
Oh yeah, absolutely terrifying to go up against him. And I mean, DK, he's got the armor for sure. I mean, looking at 37 armor right now, so actually who would be tankier? Oh, definitely PL. He's actually got more armor. Not quite more armor, but very close to as much armor as DK.
Aha.
God, he's got a lot
But then
of
he
armor.
also has magic resistance, don't
Oh,
forget.
yeah, not only that, he's got magic resistance, he's got a higher HP pool. It's just ridiculous how tanky he is. And now he's got those boots of travel working, or at the very least he's got them coming to him fairly shortly. Just going to farm up with these illusions and probably be able to get it in time.
Yep, and you have a Visage with 44 armor as well. Sure, the Gravekeeper's cloak kind of falls off when he gets attacked, but he still has the Shivas on top.
Oh yeah, now Dragon Knight actually has picked up a Blink Dagger of his own, so it looks like Denial trying to get some big kills, trying to get some pickoffs, and not only that, really just trying to up their positioning to make sure that they can get the targets they need. You know, you want to disable your Storm Spirit, disable your Luna, and if you can happen to do that before they pop their BKBs, I mean, those fights are going to be all but won.
Yeah. Phantom Lancer has a pretty good GPM, 635 so far. And now look at his illusions. This is what happens once Pio gets fat. His illusions can just farm multiple camps, and if you up... Oh, he has the booster travels already.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be pushing every single lane. Oh, wow.
Denial DK does blink into the trees. Looks like he's a little bit stuck now, trying to get that Dragon Tail, just could not quite get it in time. And now, of course, you see why that Blink Dagger can be incredibly useful. If they can find that Storm Spirit or that Luna or something along those lines and just get off a Dragon Tail, get off a huge stun, going to be pretty much a guaranteed kill, especially if Smurf is ever with him.
Yeah, Denial Esports, they just checked the Roche and it's not out, and DRUCKWELLE checked as well. Both teams, they're hoping the Roshan will be, well, it probably will be a
looks like
core
Defect,
thing.
not sure what he was doing there, actually Blunk in, and with that Blink on cooldown, can't do anything to QP or Sir Yo-Yo, who are right there all over his face. And I mean, this is the problem though, that I think that Team DW is going to be running into, is that if they do want to take the Roche, if Smurf just happens to not be in that fight, in that team fight, and try and make sure it doesn't go their way, he's going to be split pushing. He's going to be probably taking at least this bottom tier 2, maybe even a tier 3 in base. And it seems like it might be a little difficult for Team DRUCKWELLE to be finding that Roche anytime soon. And now it looks like Subark
Look at bottom.
just completely caught out. Not sure what he's doing there. Does force staff himself away, and this illusion not going to be able to bring him all the way down, but going to continually pot shot him and actually has to frostbite the illusion.
Yeah, PL illusions. I remember there were times where in the late game and I was playing support, I just kind of give up and just let him kill me because there's no way I can outrun him. It's depressing. It sounds depressing, and it is really depressing.
Oh yeah, and now it just looks like Team Denial, they realize that their PL is basically so fat. He's scouting around with his illusions, trying to be a huge headache for Team DRUCKWELLE just with them alone, and trying to buy enough time for his team to take this Roche. It looks like Team DRUCKWELLE probably knows that that's coming though, and Subark going in to maybe scout, place down some wards at the very least, but doesn't look like they're going to know it. Marcus just waiting for that hook. They are able to get the Roche hand, however, and it does go the way of... Actually, who picked that up? Visage this time around, actually, of all things. He does have a Shivas, so he can do quite a bit of work there. But now Smurf running in, chasing in, seeing if he can't find anybody, but everybody from Team DRUCKWELLE realizing that with that Aegis under their belt, I mean, Denial's going to be going in for a push, maybe even a final push, and PL has actually picked up a Demon Edge, and what do you think? Monkey King Bar to deal with the Luna's Butterfly?
Yeah, MKB.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Yeah, but I don't know if you noticed this small technique. Visage, during the whole time they were going for Roche, was using the Familiars to split push top lane. That's why top was pushed so far out.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice, but I just want to, if we look at the net worth, it seems like Dragon Knight has caught up to Storm Spirit, but Luna has also caught up to this PL, and now it looks like Luna, doing basically what PL was doing earlier, has actually saved up 4,000 gold, but is kind of trying to split push into this mid, and that's very difficult, of course, for Denial to even deal with. And now it looks like Smurf doing a lot of work. DK, there's that big blink in, is able to find QP. There's actually a gem on the ground, doesn't really matter, however. They're just going straight for it. Sir Yo-Yo trying his very best. Exiled, absolutely melting, but that's what they want. He was the Aegis carrier. Looks like QP has bought back, can't quite kill Defect in time. And that Orchid Pop, not going to be quite enough to finish him off. Captain Pie did use Chain Frost, nothing too much came of it, and the illusions just being so annoying for them. They find the racks on the bot, and with that, looks like Smurf rotates into the mid to guarantee 2 lanes of racks down for Team DRUCKWELLE.
Oh, they still want to go on Exiled.
Storm Spirit,
Storm
though,
just
finding
all the way
Exiled.
across.
Don't have too much mana left to really catch him out, and actually blocks Marcus's hook. Looks like Exiled in a heap of trouble. Can he get a nice stun with the Familiar? Only lands it on sub-arc, so he will be falling. But, I mean, all that Denial lost there were their 2 supports. Not the end of the world. I suppose the Aegis was popped as well, but that seemed more like a bait than anything else. And now, with that, Timbersaw has picked up his Boots of Travel. He's actually got Cheese under his belt. And it just seems like Denial are in a very nice position right now just to push down this last lane of racks. If they can just farm up buybacks on anybody who needs it, or basically anybody who has Boots of Travel, then they can just die and then teleport back in. And if they can do that, I mean, this might be a guaranteed victory for them.
Yeah, in the past team fight, I was unlucky. The Clockwork got clock blocked twice. He couldn't ever get a hook going.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I just want to check out the buyback statuses right now. Looks like Smurf obviously has that ability, has Boots of Travel as well. Ceylan has that, almost has buyback, only needs to farm up about 700 gold. Shouldn't be too difficult for a Timbersaw, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if basically Denial just goes about farming. He gets a nice little 50 gold there for his troubles, goes about farming up a buyback onto Timbersaw, gets an MKB up. It looks like Defect once again gonna fall to this QP, and that Orchid gonna pop him in the last seconds of it. So constantly getting picked off, not the end of the world, but just get an MKB up on Smurf, get a buyback up on Ceylan, and you're gonna have basically 7 lives or so between all of them, able to just go and fight. And it looks like Exiled now has his Aegis, or I should say Ags, I should say, and the Familiars gonna try and help him. Looks like Team DRUCKWELLE trying their very hardest to go in and push and see if they can't make something happen. But of course you have Smurf just hanging out, getting an illusion army, and if you're going to try and base race against a PL, that's going to be very difficult. Now everybody porting in. QP is here. I don't even think they know which one is him. Now clearly they do, and it looks like Smurf might be going a little bit too far. Some nice cogs to push him back, doesn't really matter. And as that's happening and they've made the team split up, it looks like Denial has taken engagement in the mid. They find a kill on the Luna, actually, of all people. PL, though, does fall for his own, basically, hubris as well, and both of them have buyback, so basically just a standstill once again.
No, that was pretty bad from the PL, to be honest. He should have microed the illusions and just send one illusion running and have Storm and Clockwork chase after it. And then he can just... I mean, there's so many illusions there. Like, there was no reason for him to run as using his hero. His illusions are tanky as well. They probably... Well, they should notice that it's an illusion, but it's just going to be so hard to find the real one. And that would have bought him so much more time to do what he wants to do.
Oh yeah, and now it actually looks like Sub-Arc, along with the other supports, or at the very least, Captain Pi as well as Marcus going and trying to push into this mid, leaving Sir Yo-Yo to try and take them all away, but of course those boots of travel are going to be putting her there, and once again, after dying and buying back, Sir Yo-Yo is back into play, and once again, it looks like Team DRUCKWELLE just trying really, really hard to try and make sure that PL has to buy back, and there they go. Looks like Ceylan does get in there, but not too much going their way. Big Chain Frost, big Crystal Maiden ult, doesn't seem to really matter, of course, because the Smurf illusion's just doing too much, and Sir Yo-Yo absolutely getting destroyed. The Monkey King bar making sure that they absolutely fall, can't do a damn thing. QP now trying to get out of there, not too sure if he can. Everybody else getting cleaned up and just can't quite zip up onto that ledge, and there's the GG. They realize that nobody can get back, and with the buybacks already all being used, looks like this game is going to go to Denial Esports.
Yeah, this game is very reminiscent of last week's WWD against Denial, where Denials were the ones who had the early game advantage, but just couldn't finish the game.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And now, so thank you everybody for tuning in to the second ever weekly ESPL series. I've been Briefcase, your caster, along with my co-caster Mito.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And with that, there should be another semi-final game coming up right after this one, or at the very least about half an hour or so. I'm not too sure on the timing, but stay tuned. There'll be another semi-final game. I believe that's on Dota Lounge as well. And right after that, there'll be the finals, which will be a best of 3. So stay tuned, everybody. And thanks for watching.